Okay guys, Mick Kelleher here from Cork Boxing Page, and I'm delighted to be at the Northside Boxing Club with the 4-time senior champion and former Olympian Paul Buttimer. Paul,
Hi Mick.
thanks very much for talking to us.
No problem at all.
Good. So Paul, with the year that's in it, obviously you're an Olympian in '92, I suppose it's a good place to start. Just kind of take us back a bit, Paul, to the journey kind of leading up to the Olympics and kind of your whole camp and training session and what the journey was in general.
When I won the National Senior Championships in '92, I boxed, well they're called the Senior Championships then, they're Elite Championships now. I boxed a good guy by the name of Mick Kelleher from Belfast. I beat Damien well in the championships, and we had to go to Copenhagen in Denmark for the only qualifier at that, my weight in Europe at the time. First fight I boxed was against, I think it was a French guy or an Italian guy, beat him well, unanimous decision. I boxed another guy then by the name now I couldn't tell you. He looked Chinese, but he was actually from Russia. Okay. He beat me, caught me with a southpaw right hook, the same as myself as being a southpaw. Dropped me with the southpaw punch hook, and I lost that fight, boxed bad, and I was supposed to box then a guy by the name of, oh God, I was only speaking to you a couple of minutes ago, from Scotland, John McLean. And hopped on the scale. I'd already boxed John McLean and I beat him twice. So I hopped on the scale that morning anyway, and I was 0.5 underweight, which was unusual for me because I normally just bang on weight. I always struggled for weight. I was the smallest flyweight in Europe in height, but I was the biggest in build. Yeah. But hopped on the scale and hung around for a while to wait to see him to come in and get weighed in and whatever. Wasn't worried or anything, you know, because I knew I beat him twice. Yeah. I'm going to beat him. There's no one going to deny me. Yeah. 17 years of hard work. So, no sign of John McLean. I went off in and had the breakfast, and about half an hour later, the doors were kicked open. John McLean staggered in the door and he says, "There's a metal weight." He was twisted. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. And I said, I did. Send us a postcard. He says, "I'm going to bed." So that's how I qualified. Now, the squad training that we did as such was intense. We were up above in Drogheda. We were up above there in a club up above there, and we trained there for a while. And then went from there to a place called Cottbus in Old East Germany. They were actually queuing up to get bread in shops and stuff. Things were still that bad in Old East Germany. And the training was fantastic. The facilities were fantastic, but the bedding area where we were living was disgraceful. Wayne McCullough turned around and he said, "I have enough." He says, "Boiled chicken, fried chicken, chicken nuggets, fried chicken, boiled chicken." That's the way it was every day. We were thinking, we're going to get up some morning, we're going to have feathers coming out of us. You know, the only one that was eating properly, and he was eating steak. And the way he was eating, you know, was big. What way do you like a steak? Rare, because there's rare you were getting it. He was eating massive steaks, like was Kevin McBride, because he had no problem. He was a super heavyweight. Now, every day, Nicholas Cruz was running after me with the scales underneath his arms. Boosey, come back. I said, "Fucking go away." I said, I'll get on the scales. I struggled, but I never failed to actually make my weight. Yeah. Now, like I said, the facilities were fantastic, but the bedding area, there was one shower between 10 of us. There was one sink between 10 of us, one toilet between 10 of us. You wouldn't like to be the last person going into the toilet anyway because you'd want a gas mask. And the sheets were changed once a week, and we lost the plot. We were losing the plot over there. Yeah. You know? And Wayne McCullough turned around and said, "I'm gone." He says, "I want Doda here." He said, "This is a joke." He said, "Of a training facilities." He said, "Of where we're living." He said, "Where we're sleeping." He says, "I need to get to sleep properly. I need to cheese change and whatever." Griffin lost the plot because, as everyone knows, Griffin is off his game anyway, like, you know. But a few days later, we had a meeting then with Arthur O'Brien, and we had a meeting with, it was Felix Jones, the president of the IABA, because they were in Germany up the road. They were at a meeting, a European meeting, and they came down, met us all, asked us all what we thought and whatever. A couple of days later, we got on a plane back to Drogheda. So we went back training there, and that's where we finished off our training.
Just what about Nicholas, Paul? Just Nicholas Cruz. I know he came in around that time. And so what kind of a training campaign regime did he put in? Was he totally different to what you're used to?
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, the techniques and the difference in the training that he showed us of easier ways of doing things instead of putting your 100% power, 60%, 70% skill. and then power when you're inside. No, he was another coach with oh God, Austin Carruth, Ozzy and himself were two fantastic coaches. I mean, Austin was around a long time, even before what's the name, like, you know, the Cuban coach like Nicholas.
I suppose from your own point of view, I know like back at the time there was no kind of high performance, there was no funding, IBA, nothing. So I suppose from a personal point, it was probably very tough to kind of balance your...
I had to give up. I gave up over the years in boxing. I gave up 10 jobs because of boxing. And what did I get? What did we all get then going away? I'm sure I was the only one out of the whole lot of us that didn't get sponsorship. I had 500 quid. That's what I got off the IABA.
I suppose
no good. I had to hand up a wage. We were effectively amateurs, but we were training like professionals. We were training 3 times a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks of the year. That's from when I was 15, 16 years of age. I loved the sport so well. Or so much, I should say.
Yeah, and I suppose you boxed for another 2 or 3 years. You won another 2 titles after that, was there?
One title after that. I won I won my first senior title in 1987. I got beat Joe Lawler. I beat fantastic boxer from Downdale in Dublin. 1988, Joe Lawler beat me the year of the Olympics. Cracking up, but sure, that's the way I was. I wanted to give it up. And then Albie Murphy got arrested and passed away. And that was 1989, and I didn't know whether I was going to box anymore because I had enough. And my dad said, give it a go. So I went up and I moved up to featherweight. I ended up boxing in the semi-finals, boxing Paul Griffin. Paul was too quick for me altogether. No, I had the power of him, the same as him, but he was too quick altogether. Paul is an exceptional southpaw, like. And then in 1990, I dropped all the way back down to flyweight again, 2 divisions down from 57 to 51 again. And I boxed Damien Kelly. Was it Damien Kelly? No, it was 1991. 1990, I boxed 89, 90 was the featherweight. 90 to 91, I boxed Pat Halloran from St. Munchins in Limerick. I beat Pat well. He was a tough opponent, very strong, but I was too quick for him. 1992, I beat Damien Kelly, and then we had trial fights over that, and I beat Damien Kelly again, so that was twice I was after beating him. And 1993, I moved up to bantamweight. I rang Wayne McCullough, and I says, are you coming down? I said, for the Nationals. He said, why, what's wrong? I said, I'm moving up to bantamweight. He says, I might come down. I said, do. I said, I beat you once, I'll beat you again. I said, I'll take a silver medal too. He said, no, he says, I'm turning pro. I said, no bother.
Was it lucky you were lucky him?
I think he was lucky.
I know, but
great time for Wayne for what he's done. I mean, the pocket rocket, he was unbelievable, like, you know. And in 1993, then that year, then I boxed. My last fight was in Dublin against Tommy Wade. At my last fight, and I went out to America and ended up having a brain operation. They're still looking for the brain, like, but.
I suppose, you know, you were on the road a long time. I suppose,
17 years I boxed for.
I suppose, and I suppose in that time, like, I suppose good times, great memories. I suppose you probably travelled the world. I suppose you probably wouldn't have seen a lot only for that box.
You'd be lucky to go to England.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. Listen, look, and I suppose when you finished officially in '94, then I suppose was it hard to kind of walk away, or did you have a problem walking away from there?
I wouldn't say I had a problem walking away. I was told I had to give it up. I went out to America to box against America in 1983, and I ended up having a brain operation outside there. And I was aneurysms. I was greedy. I had 4. I said, I'll have 4, please. 1 wasn't enough for me, like, you know. So they operated on me in America. And this is 3 days before the fight. And then I came back. That was in March 93. And in May 93, I had the second brain operation on the same brain. And I was thinking, is a big brain? Have I a big brain? Or are they still looking for the fucking thing? Or what, like, you know. But it was very hard for me to pack it in for the simple reason. It went from 3 times a day, 7 days a week to nothing. And being honest, I went off the rails, went heavy on the drink, ended up on the streets, and I had a conscious decision, stay in the shit here or get up off your ass and make something of yourself. So I got up off my ass, never told my parents to this day, and my father didn't even know about it. Told my parents what was after happening, and got help, and I'm off to drink 24 years, and I haven't looked back since.
That's great. And listen, I suppose you know, I suppose a lot of boxers, even myself, you know, you kind of go through that phase, I suppose.
You
know,
do.
I
You
suppose
do.
because you're so disciplined for so long, I suppose.
Yes,
You know, and
it's all I knew.
yeah. I suppose even, you know, when you stop, I say to myself, I kind of went that and I kind of put a lot of weight, I suppose. But, you know, I suppose when you look back down the line, then it always kind of comes back into really when it's in your
Yes.
DNA, I suppose it stays really, doesn't
Oh,
it?
it does, of course.
Yeah, and I suppose when you're at the other side now, Paul, I suppose you're doing this now a long time in the north, and the fattest though, I must say. How do you find now this side of training side? Like, do you enjoy it more? Do you get pleasure?
I think I sweat more.
Yeah.
I'm more nervous than the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple of fantastic kids in this club.
Yeah.
We're open now 12 years.
Yeah.
And well, I actually opened the club in 1993, a couple of months after my second operation out in Bishopstown.
Yeah.
And we got a lad won an Irish title outside there, right? Brian Deneen. He boxed with Monty.
Yeah.
Do you remember Monty?
Yeah.
Monty's a hard case, like. And he turned around and he says to me, he says, I trained him. I said, yeah, you trained him, I polished him off. And he cracked up about that to this day, like, he cracks up about it. And we started this club here, Northside Boxing Club, 12 years ago, like I said, and we have a couple of Irish champions. We went down and got a European champion in a lad there, Michael Faulkner. He's not involved in boxing anymore, but fantastic kid.
I suppose
and I have a couple of great kids here.
You taught them from scratch, really.
From scratch, yes, every one of them, you know.
Exactly,
I mean, I have a young lad here now by the name of Dara Cairns. Stylish kid, very stylish. His sister, she's 11, she boxed this year in the Nationals, very unlucky not to get the decision. She lost on a 3-2. My own son, never thought he'd get involved in boxing. He's not even a natural southpaw. And he's a southpaw down here in the club, got beaten in the national final. I thought it was... Maybe I might be a little bit biased, but I was asked nicely, would I just walk away from the ring because I lost the plot? Because I said, no, I said, you know it and I know it, right?
Of course.
You have to knock them out in Dublin to get a draw.
Listen,
it's crazy up there.
You're training so hard, and there's nothing worse. I've been up there and I've seen it. Listen,
yes.
It's just soul destroying for the kids.
It's soul destroying for kids.
You know,
but you know what? Do you know what the best part about it is? If they keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back.
Exactly. I suppose, listen,
you know?
Yeah, I suppose, you know, I've seen kids that, and you say to them, you still listen, look, you know, our journeys, and you know, we've been there and we've been beaten 2 or 3 finals, and we have to continue to come back. So,
I mean, the prime example of that is he lost his first, was it 16 or 17 fight, Paddy Barnes. But sure, he's had to win 2 Olympic bronze medals. So you keep persevering. I mean, no one thought I'd ever make the All-Irelands, even win an Irish title. I went on, I won 10 Irish titles altogether. You know? I mean, your own uncle was the man that said to me, he's an Olympian for this future. You know? So I stuck at it, and I stuck at it, and I stuck at it. Like, and how I started off with boxing was with Cork Boxing Club. Being a nosy kid, stuck the head in the door. Got pulled in the door by a man, God rest him, he's passed away a few years ago, Billy McLaughlin, Northern Ireland Billy. And he said, come on, wee man. He says, get in there and we'll have a look. Geez, he threw the gloves on me straight away. No headgear, there was no such thing as rounds, there's no such thing as a ropes even around. It was one end of the hall to the other, and left to right, and you were either battered pillar to post, or you got on your toes and you punched and moved. And loved it from then, 10 years of age. So I'm 58 now, so I'm 48 years in the game. Love it. I love it.
That's, I suppose, going back to then days, what was your first kind of memories of going into a gym? Like, you know?
Would have been, I got ahead of myself there, sorry. Cork Boxing Club down below in...
Where was Cork, actually?
It was down below in the community hall. It's just across from the bar, between the pub and the Cork Community School, or Cork Primary School, where I went to school, because I grew up in Cork. I went to school with Dennis Irwin. I played soccer with Dennis Irwin, with everything. I was crap at soccer, but I did turn around. They said to me, Paul, get him. Yeah, no bother. I'll tattle anybody. The bigger they are, the harder they fall to me. There's no one bigger than me. There's no one better than me. That was my mentality, you know. Never liked school, so that's why I left early. But went into Cork Club, and I was the first and only Irish champion 3 years in a row, 14s, 15s and 16s. That's when they were by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, U1 and U2 they were called then. So at 14, U1 and U2, I won 3 years in a row. And to that, when that club 27 years the club was going all together, and I was still the first and only Irish champion that came out of that old boxing club. Jimmy Murphy was the trainer, the singing painter.
Yeah, Jimmy, actually, yeah, I remember Jimmy. But I kind of briefly remember because I was a bit young, but I suppose Jimmy was a great character, wasn't he? He was. He was a good coach too, wasn't he? Like,
Yeah, he was fantastic. He taught me everything.
Yeah,
taught me everything.
Yeah,
the boulder punch, the left uppercut, and the right hook over the top.
Jimmy was everywhere, wasn't he? He got every. He never missed anything, when he.
No, he was at everything. He brought us everywhere.
He did.
You know. And then when I moved from there, then I went to Sunnyside, and I boxed a guy 2 or 3 times. I think his name Arnold Dowling. And the last time I boxed Arnold, I gave Arnold a bit of a boxing exhibition because he was very strong. You know, he was a lot stronger than me. He was a few kilos heavier than me at the time, but I had to get fellas heavier than me to fight to keep myself going. Otherwise, I'd only get peed off and I'd head off out of boxing and I'd go somewhere else. But when I arrived in the door then one night with the gear bag, he said, "We're not sparring tonight." No, I said, "I'm joining the club." "Oh, for God's sake," he says. I said, "What's wrong with you?" He says, "It's bad enough boxing." He said, "No, I have to spare you every week." Oh God, it was gas.
How did you find your weight? I know you were kind of.
I always struggled.
You're walking around weight.
Walking around. I was at senior level. Wayne McCullough done the bantam weights, and I was doing fly weights, and I was weighing heavier than Wayne after training. But I never failed to make a weight.
That time of the season, did you weigh the day before or the day of the fight?
The day of the fight. The day of the fight, yeah. You know.
Yeah, I suppose we look back now with the seniors back then compared to now. I suppose back then you couldn't get into the stadium. I suppose, you know.
Oh, they were up in the they were hanging off the rafters in them days. The sweat. We weren't even after fighting. We were walking around.
Yeah, exactly. I remember.
It was fantastic.
I was at your last one when you won the last one. Just you couldn't get in there. I suppose when you look at it now, it's sad to see kind of.
It's sad.
Empty, and it's, you know.
I think the association needs to change things a small bit. You know, I mean, there's too many non-boxing people involved in it up there, and they're ruining it, I think.
Yeah. I suppose, you know what, I suppose we're lucky down here. We have a good kind of.
The Cork County Board, fantastic. I mean, we hold, as you know, the leagues every Thursday night inside here. Fantastic atmosphere, fantastic. Some of the fights you have inside here with underage even, you're looking, you're saying, future senior champions, elite champions. You know, the progression that they're after making here in Cork and all the different Cork City and Cork County clubs is fantastic. And nearly every club gets on with each other anyway, like, you know.
It's great to see, like, there's so many trips now, people going abroad, you know, like, and they're taking the kids away. I suppose we didn't have to get the opportunity to do apart from that.
We'd be lucky to go down to Fermoy years ago.
So that's great. And just briefly before I finish, what's your, how many people you got training up, Paul? Have you 20, 30 people in the club? More?
20, 30. I had a quiet club there tonight. Now there was a 19 underage, that's 7 to 11-year-olds. I have 42 in that class. The 11 to 14s, when the summer finishes, I have about 40 in that class, and I have 28, I think, in the senior class altogether. So I have roughly nearly 100 in the club, and we're here 5 nights a week.
That's very good, yeah. Because I'm saying, I remember, like, kind of, just maybe 10 years ago, it kind of died off a small bit, didn't it?
It did, yes.
It just kind of went off, I suppose, a bit, but it's kind of.
But every time the Olympic comes around, and everyone wants to jump. They want to be the next Michael Carruth. They want to be the next Katie Taylor or Kelly Hamilton, like, you know. And it's fantastic to see.
Just touching that, Paul, the team that we have now going to the Olympics, kind of our senior team. What do you think of that team?
They've been unlucky with a few of the decisions. Now, judging, to me, I think is a little bit poor. Referees, how many times are you going to warn a person or caution a person for holding, dropping the head, pushing, and whatever? In our day, 2 cautions and a count. And that's your public warning. That's the round effectively taken off you. Now, I've seen 1 or 2 of the Irish boxers, I thought they won. But listen, they're supposed to have more authority than us, and they have more experience.
But I suppose in general, boxing is a kind of good place, and it's kind of.
It is. It's a fantastic place, and it's great. I mean, you had Kelly Hamilton there now today. She won a quarter-final and won it well, and she's only the second person, alongside Paddy Barnes, to get two medals in 2 different Olympics. It's fantastic. And then we have the swimmers then too on top of it. I mean, we unite, no matter what sports, the sports that the people are looking at now at the Olympics, they would never look at it. But the camaraderie with everybody is fantastic
I guess
altogether.
the last
you know?
Olympics have been about boxing solely, but like we're kind of gradually we're getting up as a whole.
Yes.
As a unit. I don't know, it's great. This is great
It's
to see.
brilliant. It's
Great to see.
fantastic.
Great to see. Paul, listen, it's
You
great
know?
to talk to you, and come here, you're doing a great job.
Pleasure.
Keep up
Thanks
the good
very
work,
much
Paul.
indeed. Thank you.
Take care.